Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where Barca have signed off for the Christmas break in the perfect way, in the absolute perfect manner. We have got exactly what we needed today, which was 3 points. It was a tough place to go. Villarreal in La Liga this season, they've been one of the outstanding teams. It is a very, very difficult team to face, and ultimately, like I say, we've done what was necessary. I wouldn't say, again, it was the most sparkling performance ever. I wouldn't say it was a flawless display from Barca, but it's 3 vital points. And what that means now is, going into this break, we are 4 points clear of Real Madrid, and that is absolutely massive, because I would also say from Barca, looking at the past few weeks, looking at the start we've had to this season, have we been at our best? I don't think we have. I don't think other teams around us either have been at their best the whole time. I still think there's a lot more to come from this team right here. And ultimately now, moving into next year, we can improve, we can grow. That's what we need to do. I think we all accept that. This team still has to improve in several different areas. But I think we can do that now because of these wins, because of that gap that we've built up. We can do it without the intense speculation about the team, about the form, about the coach, about all the other things that go on at Barca. We won some games, we put some wins together, we've got points on the board, and now we can move into that new year and just give it everything. We want to see the team grow, we want to see the team improve, but we have done very well to ultimately maximise what you see in the league table here today. Because ultimately, in terms of today's game against Villarreal, the performance that we saw, if we start here with the starting lineup, because quite honestly already, there was issues for Flick. You're looking at that back line right there, it is starting to look very, very depleted. And I don't mean the players that were out there. I think that's actually a back four now that's developing, that has actually improved. The more that they play with each other, the more understanding that we gather. But beyond that right now, there is not a lot of depth there. Of course, Araujo is away from the team today. We learned about the pretty bad injury that Andreas Christensen has suffered with. Jules Koundé also went off in the second half with a problem. And ultimately now, I think January's going to be important. I think we are going to have to do something defensively in the January transfer window, and maybe even that Christensen injury could just open things up for us a little bit, and that would be very, very interesting to see what Barca can do, what they're able to do given the FFP restraints. And of course in midfield, lacking Pedri. Any game that we go into without Pedri, I'm going to be nervous. I'm not going to be feeling the most confident ever, because you're missing your most influential player in that area. Now, De Jong came back in, I think, alongside Eric Garcia. They did what they could in this game. Raphinha, again, for me, was the absolute difference maker. You look at the goal that he scored, it was a penalty, of course. Barca won that there in the first half, and we slotted it away, which is good. We've had a few problems from the spot this season, so good that Raphinha scored that. But I tell you what, I wish that long shot from him, the one that he absolutely cannoned off the crossbar, I would have loved to have seen that gone in. The way that he struck it there, everybody was stunned. Everybody was frozen. The keeper was rooted to the spot, just watching it, almost in awe of the strike that Raphinha pulled off there. It smacked against the crossbar. Absolutely wonderful effort there from Raphinha. But what about Lamine Yamal? The challenge that he went through there, it was a straight red card, no doubt about that. It was an absolutely horrific tackle. Not the first time, by the way, against Villarreal. These tackles have been coming in. Every team against us seems to want to be more aggressive, more risky in terms of their tackles. Glad to see a red card produced there. And also the Villarreal fans, whistling, booing Lamine Yamal all game long. To be honest, do they think that's going to do something? Do they think as though that's going to affect Yamal, affect his performance? If anything, I honestly believe if you do that, if you do whistle him, he will play better against you. And that is why today I was almost sure as that game went on, he's going to score. He is going to do something. He will want to do something here in front of this crowd, and he did there, sealing the win for Barca. That was a really, really important moment in the game as well, guys. But I do have to say as well, aside from those players that we have discussed already, just a word here on Joan Garcia, because I think at times you talk about the goal scorers in this game, you talk about the people that create, and of course those are all incredible moments, they're great players that we talk about, but the man between the sticks, he is some keeper. Today, the saves that he was pulling off, and some of them, they don't all count in terms of the stats, because sometimes, the play is flagged offside, sometimes maybe the play wouldn't have stood anyway, but he doesn't know that. He's the last line of defence, time and time again, he's put under pressure, there's a 1 versus 1 situation, and that is why, given the style that we play, we're very aggressive, we're very risky, with that high line, there's so much space in behind, you accept ultimately we're going to concede chances. You're going to have one-on-one moments. But what we are doing is we're saying, we trust Joan Garcia. We are actually backing him here. We are believing in him to pull off some extraordinary saves. And I thought again today, he was absolutely brilliant. And he gives me such confidence here as a fan. Watching on, that is a massive, massive boost to have him in goal for us. But yeah, I would just say, guys, although here, it's never easy really to gauge a game where you played for the majority of it against 10 men. I don't think we actually thrive in that situation, weirdly. I think sometimes we can find it a little bit difficult. And I would also just say as well, Villarreal, they didn't have too much of the ball. I don't think they were at their best today because of going down to 10. But they did still have chances. You know, even in today's game, it might be one that you go away and think, oh, Barca were pretty comfortable. But yeah, there were still chances created though. And that's why I still believe here, entering into 2026, we could be happy. You know, we could be a bit energised by the form that we've been on recently. But there is still a feeling for me that we have to get better. You know, we are going to have to do more. And that's not a crime, because I've been listening recently to Pep Guardiola in the Premier League at Man City. It's interesting, actually. They've been on a bit of a winning run. They've been putting some really good games together. But Pep keeps coming out and saying, look, this is good. You know, we're happy with the wins. But this is still not enough. You know, he's been saying basically, if we continue to play like this, we're still not going to win the Champions League. We're not going to win against the better teams. And that's the way that I feel about Barca right now. I'm happy with the wins. You know, I'm delighted today that we managed to get a really, really tricky game out of the way against Villarreal. But I still do feel if we're targeting everything, if our sights there are right at the top, if we are gunning for the biggest of trophies, we still are going to need to do more. And that can come, you know, that can come next year. And look, guys, I just want us to enjoy the holiday break right now. I think it has been a bit of a taxing year for all of us. With Barca, it's always going to be like that. There's a lot of games, there's a lot of intensity every match, before the game, after the game. We want the team to succeed. There's always so much noise as well, isn't there, away from the field with Barca. But I just want to say, guys, it's been an incredible 2025 in so many ways. The football that we've seen going deep in the Champions League last season, now, of course, starting a new campaign. And so far, so good in La Liga. We are top of the league. And I couldn't have done it all without you, you know, being here every day, you know, most days with you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And now I'm going to go away. I'm going to take a few days off over the Christmas period. I hope that you guys are going to have fun, you know, with family, with friends. I hope you're going to have some relaxing times as well. Everybody needs that. Everybody deserves that there. So I really want to thank all of you for the tremendous support. I will see you soon, you know, make no mistake about that. We will be back and the videos will be continuing into 2026. Hopefully it can be another special year, another incredible year for Barca. That's my Christmas wish, but thank you guys. Much appreciated, and see you all soon. Have a good time, but until next time, as always, Vesca, El Barca.